County. David Jackson, I think, will share his story. He was at Nairobi School, Nairobi at that time. And then on the left, Mazingira yetu jukumu letu, the tagline came from a student at Mazeras High School. And so during the Africa Climate Summit on the 7th of September last year, the First Lady unveiled the winning tagline. The learners were, of course, celebrated and recognized, and they were given awards. You can see the former CS Machogu there with the winners, and the spouse of the deputy president. They're celebrating the winners with their awards. And on the right, we had, those are the 5 girls, the 5 special need learners. They were deaf girls from St. Mumia School in Vihiga who were recognized and celebrated. And at that time, we also celebrated, different categories. We had the youngest entrant, a 5-year-old, and then teachers were given certificates of appreciation. So it was a great celebration. And at that, at the same event, we had launched FLAMA. It was a very colorful event, and acknowledged Dr. P.S. Ngeno was there, and several other PSs. We had the CS, of course, and different partners. We had vice chancellors. We had various diplomats, educators, and of course, our chief guests were the learners. We can move on. And so, at every engagement we have with learners, we want to make it memorable, we want to make it exciting, but we also want them to learn, and we want to give them an opportunity to learn and to learn experientially. So around that time last year, we had a learning event, a 2-day learning event. You can move on, sir. A 2-day learning event. It was around the environment, and there was specially curated activities. It was a learner-dedicated space. We had 200 learners and 50 teachers from 13 counties come to the event, and we had various activities around, children's activities, around environmental storytelling, around games, and you can see we had a panel. We had a panel where learners were talking to us, telling us what they want, what they see. And I also want to acknowledge Karen. Karen was there in the panel. And yes, and just to say something about that panel, we had Dr. Yvonne Maingi, NCBA. And something about Dr. Yvonne Maingi is that when she was a young girl herself, she won a climate change competition. And so her trajectory, sort of went in that direction, and she ended up getting a doctorate in climate change. So what we are trying to do is to get learners to all become Dr. Yvonne Maingis. Yeah. So it was just a motivational, experience for them. And then we had young learners. You can see these are learners from Taita Taveta. Their first time in Nairobi, and they of course presented a lot of very, very interesting environment-related presentations. Like I said, you can see there we have NCBA represented. They actually supported us, gave us some of those tablets as gifts for the learners, and you can see it was a space, a dedicated space for learners, but they were also there engaging with high-level guests, and so giving learners a chance to be in the same space, and then there was a lot of presentation. There was, like I said, learner programs. You can see on the left, it's an art gallery where we were showcasing the art. We had spaces for children, art, to interact with art. And they were all given, gift bags. You can see beautiful gift bags with a lot of environment-related gifts in there. Then we had the Tree of Hope, which was a symbolic tree where guests were coming to our space to individually and collectively tell us their climate action goals, and then write on a leaf and hang it on the tree. So you can see that it was just an environmentally related space. And then to culminate the 2 days, the learners were invited. Oh, sorry. You can see there. Learners were, we can move on, please. The next slide. Yeah. No. Yes. You can see at the top left there, they were playing climate-related games using VR. So engaging learners in the way they want to be engaged. You can see they were. How do I say? They were playing, they were picking trash. They were learning sustainable waste management using VR. You can see climate games. We even had puppets talking about tree planting, and this was especially geared for the younger learners with a special message about tree planting. And to end this amazing 2 days, the learners were invited to State House by Her Excellency, the First Lady. She hosted a banquet for them. And of course, very important, they were able to plant and grow trees and just spend time with the First Lady. So that was 2023. That was 2023, our activities for 2023. And we got straight into it after the Africa Climate Summit to plan the 2024 First Lady Mazingira Awards competition. So, in February 2024, we rolled out the First Lady Mazingira Awards 2024 edition. We developed a portal. I'll speak more about the portal, but the competition in 2024 was targeted to learners in primary school, that is lower primary, upper primary, junior school, and special need learner education. For this year, we wanted to just focus on creating systems and structures, and so we focused on primary and junior school. And then, of course, the categories were painting, drawing, essay writing, English, Swahili, and spoken word. And very important is the theme for the competition. So we are anchoring the theme. The theme for the competition every year will mirror the World Environment Day theme. And so our learners will be looking at global international discourse and then contextualizing their solutions and to what is happening nationally. And so the theme is restore our land, secure our future. And in Swahili, turejeshe ardhi yetu, tuhakikishe mustakabali wetu. So that is the theme for 2024, and it highlights the importance of land restoration, desertification, and building drought resilience in Kenya. And so the learners will internalize this theme and go and research, go and interpret it, and then present it in the various categories, like I said. And what we did is we came up with posters. You can see the posters there, just so that we can share, the social media platforms, and just for the teachers, the learners, the parents to understand what it is that we want out of them. So I mentioned the portal to enhance digital literacy. Everything we're doing is online. We have a portal, flama.go.ke, and so school registrations and the submissions were being done online. We came up with very clear guidelines and rules on the expectations. And one of the things we were very clear on how the formats to submit and what we do not want, unacceptable submissions. And we were saying we're very big on no plagiarism, no copyrighted material, and we're having an issue around AI-generated entries. But this is something that the team is looking at. And what we did is, you can see the portal there, and the Ministry of Education very, very key in allowing us to integrate the FLAMA portal with the NEMIS portal. So we made it easy for the schools to register. All you need to do is put your UIC code, your NEMIS UIC code, and then, and of course, the school will come up, and when you're submitting the learners, the unique the UPI for every learner will already be there. So making it very easy to put their registrations and submissions. We had a few schools that were saying they don't have a NEMIS code, and so we were able to get another pathway for submitting their entries, just so that we have everyone on board. So we did a lot of engagement around the country with schools, learners, teachers, to try and get them to participate. So where are we now? We closed the registration on 31st July, but maybe just some images to show you school engagement. We went to schools across the country. At some point we had to stop when we had, around June, when we had the Gen Z issues. But we went to as many schools as we could, the team. So across the country we went to events where there are learners, even with we talked about FLAMA, as the young student is taking her cup of uji, and that's a school at the top there in Turkana. And at the bottom there, the bottom right, I want to acknowledge Simon Lenku, a young student from KU, who took it upon himself. He learned about FLAMA online and took it upon himself to go to the schools in his community or in his where he works, to tell them about FLAMA. That image there, he is training He's training students, he trained teachers, and we knew nothing about him until just the other day. So a FLAMA ambassador, and we really acknowledge him. Yes, and then we also went to different schools. We went to school assemblies, we went to school events, we talked to head teachers and school officials so that they can know about FLAMA. And so at the end of it, we had over 46 counties represented, over 1,000 schools participated, and we had all those entries from the learners, including special need learners. We even had an essay in Braille, and so now where are we at? We are at a very critical stage right now where we are assessing the entries. From Monday this week, we had a group of assessors carefully selected, teachers of English, teachers of Swahili, teachers of art, special need Nana experts. We had educators. I want to acknowledge one assessor in the room, one assessor, Mercy, and a few others. So, and then Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment, NetFund is represented, Carefree is represented, KICD is represented, the ministry, and the assessors came up with a very robust assessment criteria, and they're doing the assessment using our portal. The process it's a credible process. The entries are being assessed. Each of the assessors has no access to the name or the school. They only have access to the entries, the artwork, the essays, and so we want to be very, very credible in this process. And so the judgment is actually going on. Anytime now, we will be selecting the winners of the First Lady Mazingira Award. So we are very excited and looking forward to, because what we have seen, very creative work, very innovative work. The learners have put a lot of work into it, and we know teachers have also been supporting them. We've also seen a bit of AI-generated work, and so we are trying to see how to deal with that. This is a digital age, and also a bit of plagiarism. So we are handling that, but making sure that it's a very credible credible process. And then we are going to, of course, we're looking forward to the award ceremony. So I'm just about to finish. So where are we at? On 10th October, we're going to have a big award ceremony. But before that, because it is the National Environment Celebration, there's going to be a national cleanup at Michuki Park. I want to acknowledge Dr. Engineer Ngeno, who has been supporting us just to think through this. And so we are going to have a cleanup. Some of our learners and teachers will be there. But the award ceremony will be at the KICC Amphitheatre, where Her Excellency will be the chief guest, will be awarding the learners, will be showcasing the art, and then we'll have Eco Learners program. Like I said, we want to engage the learners, so we have a lot of organizations that have said they want to come and engage the learners. And then KWS, I want to acknowledge that they have, on the 11th of October, they're going to take the learners to KWS. They'll have a program lined out, and then they'll of course go to the Nairobi National Park. So, and then just to say, the FLAMA journey doesn't end with the award ceremony. I know we are celebrating the winners, but we're saying beyond that, we want to look at the learners who write well, who illustrate well. So we'll pick them out, we'll train them, we'll mentor them, so they can tell our stories, our way, highlight what is going on here. So we want to have a training and mentorship bootcamp, we want to showcase the winners, and then of course education, the eco-edutainment trip is what I'm talking about, will be happening on 11th October, not November, like is shown there. But at the end of the year, we want to review and plan, and this is where we want to hear from you. How best can we improve this process? We want to co-create, we want to build. At the end of the day, we are looking at an empowered learner, and so we all want to work together, and then of course work on the rollout for 2025. So I think I'm just, yes, so what we say is, I came across this quote: teach me, tell me, and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. And so we want to involve learners in what we're doing. And so just the last few slides, talking about our learning by doing. So we have been talking about learning by creative expression, learning by learning. So learning by doing, we have a hands-on learning by doing program in schools to, of course, support the national goal. And we are working with clubs in schools, 4K clubs, wildlife clubs, to grow trees, to establish tree nurseries. We also have what we call Mama Fruit Gardens, where the learners, you can see, are engaging in tree growing. We have tree nursery, And we have just a showcase of a tree nursery that we established last year. You can see we planted some orange trees, and they're already harvesting oranges. So we are learning by doing. We are saying these learners can green our country. So in terms of sustainability, we are looking at how then do we ensure that FLAMA continues. The first thing we want to do is to entrench it, of course, with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment support, to entrench it within the annual co-curricular school calendar, and then work with existing structures and motivate these learners. We're saying they have talents. How do we motivate them? And then also we have a robust data collection system, because we want to monitor, we want to evaluate what we are doing. We also have the Jazamiti app, which will keep us in check in terms of the trees we are growing. But we're saying, how are we monitoring and evaluating and learning and relearning and making this process better? And then, of course, looking for the award to transition to being entrenched in the ministry, so that we have a dedicated budget, and then most importantly, ensuring partnerships, and engaging relevant stakeholders. We can't do it alone. And so we acknowledge all the many supporters, partners who have walked the FLAMA journey with us, and we're happy there's enough space to add as many more partners, because we are saying, Mazingira yetu, jukumu letu. So that is the tagline for FLAMA. Mazingira yetu, jukumu letu. Our environment, our responsibility. And as I finish, please allow me, because now you've been listening to me, I just want to engage you a little bit. Like we said, and the tagline is our environment. Repeat after me. Our environment. Mazingira yetu. Okay, so allow me to teach you something. Allow me to teach you sign language. So we can say that in sign language, right? So this is the letter O. Okay, so if you put it across your chest, it's our. So our, yes. Right to left. Our, okay. And then this is the letter E. If you put your finger up and across, this is environment. Does it look like environment? Yes. So our environment. Our, so this is the letter R. So if you put two fingers and then on your shoulder, and responsibility, right? Does it look like a responsibility? Yes. Our environment is our responsibility. So let's say that the tagline, the Mazingira tagline, which is Mazingira yetu jukumu letu, we say it in Swahili, English, and sign language. All right. Mazingira yetu jukumu letu. Our environment, our responsibility. Our environment, our responsibility. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheila, for such a detailed presentation on what FLAMA is doing, especially bringing on board children on matters climate action. Tumpigie makofi kwa sign language. Yes. Thank you very much. Indeed, after this presentation, it is clear that children are now active partners in the fights against climate change. Thanks to FLAMA. Tupige makofi sasa. A big round of applause. FLAMA is doing so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move to the next segment of our program this morning, and we'll focus on why children matter in climate action. And we have a number of speakers who will take us through that topic. And we'll start with David Jackson, who won FLAMA Logo Award. A round of applause as he makes his way to the stage. Welcome.
One time in Form 4, Form 3 asked me, how do I paint like you? You know, every time I paint badly. And I told him, keep painting badly. Because art and many other things in life, it's all about practice. That's how you improve. Distinguished guest, Dr. Engineer Ngeno, Madam CEO FLAMA, Madam Elizabeth, Deputy Director NCBA, and all the people in this room, good morning. Good morning. All right, so my name is David Jackson. I'm an artist and, let me say, a self-proclaimed creative designer. My first encounter with FLAMA, okay, I did not know I was in the same grounds with FLAMA then. It was back in 2018 during, we were close to Junction. There was an event there for competitions on matters environment, climate change, and I took part in that. I've taken part in many environmental competitions, and that time I was around number 10 in that category. But now when I came to meet FLAMA was last year. I took part in the competition again. It was my first time ever taking a competition that involves a logo. I was used to, painting other things. And it was a great experience, yeah, especially when I was told that I won. Wow, I was surprised. It was at the end of the term, Form 4, the pressure in schools, and then you're told you have won. So it was a big moment for me. It brings out the joy, that pressure for studying and everything. Brings a smile to the face. It was amazing. Felt so good. Then we went during the Climate Summit and First Lady Pavilion last year. That's when we were awarded, standing in front of a big crowd and all these great people. It was so amazing, yeah. And I thank my school. I was in Nairobi school. They really supported me. They even brought the band on that day. So you can imagine how I was feeling, yeah? After that, I was able to join and help the FLAMA once. During when they were visiting schools, we went to the Donholm Comprehensive School and I talked to the students there. Actually, learners are very excited about matters environment. And what we are doing here, FLAMA, this is a great way to reach the learners because in most cases you find that learners, what they are missing on is information and also assistance to be able to take part in tree planting and care for the environment. So FLAMA, a round of applause for FLAMA, please. Thank you. I also joined Her Excellency, the First Lady, Mama Rachel Ruto, during the land reclamation and strategy at Karura. I planted a tree with her. It was a great experience. Just to note, she actually touched the soil. My future with FLAMA now, FLAMA has been able to open for me a greater view in a mindset in things that I would like to do or what I would like my art to represent, and also to give back to the society for the skills I have in painting, drawing, and all that. I feel with FLAMA, I can be able to encourage other learners out there who are maybe lacking in this information and help them also to nurture their talents. Because as I said earlier, when they asked me how to improve so that they can draw well, I told them to keep drawing badly, yeah? And I will just, as I finish, I would like to leave you with a food for thought. Just imagine you're somewhere, you've drunk water in a plastic bottle, then you throw it on the ground just randomly. And a grown-up person comes and picks it and throws it in the dustbin. You'll be like, they're being paid for this. But what if a small child does the same thing? Will you ever throw a bottle again? Food for thought. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank Thank you very much, David Jackson. Indeed, that is a life-inspired, life-changed, and through FLAMA. Thank you very much. We'll now move to our next speaker, a young girl, beautiful, grade 6 learner, Karen Wanjiru Kimani, who is also a young ambassador, climate ambassador. A round of applause as she makes her way to the stage. Karibu sana.
Think I'm too short. And I'm too tall right now. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, P.S. Ngeno, good morning. How are you all doing? How was your breakfast? You enjoyed it? Okay, great. I am really grateful for giving me this golden chance to represent children's voices in climate change. This has always been my dream, to see leaders giving children the opportunity to lead in climate change fight. Thank you, our First Lady and all other leaders for leading from the front. Why do children matter so much in climate action? 3 days ago, I arrived from Yakutia, Russia, where I represented Kenya and Africa in the 5th Northern Sustainable Development Forum for 1 week. I met with other children and world leaders. We signed an agreement to work together to save the world ecosystem. Because our ecosystems are related, the world has realized that we must involve children first in climate action, because children will have no future. The effect of climate change, such as the flood and the droughts we keep seeing, will wipe our generation out. Children are very good in teamwork. We, the children, can achieve a lot when working together for a common goal such as climate change. We have managed to achieve so much in SDG 13 as children in planting trees, for example. I encourage leaders to continue supporting our efforts. I believe we can introduce tree growing and environmental conservation in our school curriculum. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. Once again, thank you so much, Madam First Lady, for recognizing my efforts in climate change action. Lastly, I want to recommend our President William Ruto for intervening in cleaning our beautiful Nairobi River. I really would like to meet him and discuss how Russia is keeping River Lena and the ecosystem clean. We can do the same in our beautiful Nairobi River. Thank you so much. Before I leave, I would like to say a few points. A short story of how I started. I started as a model. I started at 4 years old. I did modeling with Little Miss and Mr. Kenya. I did Best Eco Project and I won the award in 2018. And I participated again. I traveled to Spain for Mini Miss United World, and I also won the award for Mini Miss United World 2019, and that gave me the motivation and courage to do more for the environment. And I decided, why not? I've just won an award. Why not giving more to the environment? I decided to be the next Wangari Maathai, follow her footsteps and make our Mother Earth happy and smile again, because we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. If we don't take climate action now, tomorrow might be too late. And we do not want it to be too late, because we can make our Mother Earth smile again. Why I take climate action seriously. As SDG 13 say, climate action. Climate action is now. We need to act, not just talking, but acting. Talking will not do the action. Action, we will do the action. When I traveled to Yakutia, Russia, we visited River Lena, and I was so happy to see how that river was very clean. But later on, the river was drying. It was closing up, and I did not want to see that river closing because I did not want to see that river drying because I imagined our Nairobi River. If our Nairobi River could be the River Lena, we could have achieved a lot, and together we can make our Nairobi River work again, and we can make the water flow. And when we also visited the 3 pillars, and I was so inspired because the second man was found there. And we also visited a place where it's ice. It's called the permafrost. The permafrost in Russia, it's melting. And when we tried to climb the mountain there, it was so slippery because under it, it's the ice. And when we entered, it was so nice, and I was so happy. And later on, we heard that the ice was melting, and the city Yakutia is melting. No, the ice is melting in the city Yakutia, and if the ice is melting, the city will soon come to. Yes. I'm looking forward to work with the president in cleaning our Nairobi River and make the water flow again. I am the CEO and founder of Karen Fort Environmental Conservation Foundation. My organization does a lot. My organization do different activities like trees for birthdays. As I'm turning 12 years old, I'll be planting 12 trees to mark my birthday. And the other activity that we do is inter-school tree growing activity. We go to different schools, we mentor the children there, we tell them the importance of environmental conservation and how it is done, and we also plant trees in the schools. I have my own very idea of virtual forest program. In my Facebook page, I have 48,000 followers. If I nominate 10 members or even more, they get to plant 10 trees or even more and send the photos from time to time. I also have an activity called the Inter-County Tree Growing Activity and Mentorship Program. We go to different counties, we plant trees, we mentor children there, and we leave an ambassador to mentor those children and take care of those trees and lead in climate action in their county. My dream is to have in every school, they have an environmental club. If the schools have an environmental club, children will be encouraged to do more. And I am one of the UNICEF Advisory Committee, and I'm planning to have the World Children's Day, and I would like PS to be there, and thank you. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to see all of you again. Thank you.
Another big round of applause to Karen, kindly. Thank you, Karen, for the steps you're taking towards climate action. Listening to you is so inspiring. Cindy, so inspiring. I believe what you're doing together with other learners inspires communities around you and also inspires government to take action. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We'll continue with this segment, and now it's time to hear from our esteemed media personalities who are here involved in climate action reporting, and it will be really good to hear what they have to say about what we're hearing this morning. I'll start with Yusuf Farah of KBC to set the stage. I think I can take the mic around so that we have an easy time to speak. Kindly introduce yourself, the media house, and your insights. I'm guided. Kindly go to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Farah Yusuf. I work for the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. I am an environmental and security reporter, so not just matters environment. Of course, it's an honor to be standing before esteemed guests who play a vital role in matters environment, because as we know, if we do not take action right now, then we might not be there to enjoy tomorrow. And I'm really inspired by what Karen said. Seeing someone from such a young age do so many things that many of us in this room have not been able to do at the point where we are right now is really a huge challenge. So I hope we can take up that challenge and do the best we can to secure the environment, not only for our current generation, but for the future generations as well. As an environment reporter, perhaps I think I may be speaking for all the environment reporters, whether it's in print, broadcast, or any other form of media, when I say one thing. We do have a challenge, a very huge challenge, when it comes to defending environment stories, when it comes to our editors. You can imagine it's a day, say for example, there are many things happening in the country and you go there and you say you have an environment story. Usually, when you pitch for an environment story, the first question you ask is it really newsworthy at this point in time? I think this is something most of my colleagues across the board can attest to. This is not something that most media houses do take seriously. As much as this is a matter that is serious, gravely serious, if I may add, it's still not yet been given the right amount of airtime it rightfully deserves. Because we can imagine, we literally went from a serious perennial drought to serious floods. All of these are effects of climate change, and still, in this day and age, you still find a hard time defending a story that you want to do. Usually, most of the times, the story that do, quote unquote, make the news, politics of the day, and all of that. But imagine if we don't report on matters that matter, like environment and climate change, where will people like Karen be to secure the future? Because we won't be there. 70, 100 years from now, if we don't take action, then there might not be a Nairobi River to save. So I hope and pray that all the editors in the different media houses can take their time to look at environment stories as stories that really matter to them. Thank you very much.
We'll hear from one more. Mercy Alomba, Ruben FM. Kindly come and share your insights. A warm welcome as she comes.
Good morning, everyone. As you've heard, I'm Mercy Alomba from Ruben FM. Ruben FM is a community radio station in Mkurukwa, Ruben. And I'm privileged to be working with children. At where our offices are, we also have a school called AEF Primary School. And if you've been keen, those kids are doing tremendous work down there, because like every other day, they are taking part in cleaning the environment. They have a shamba. They've planted trees. So the space is so small, but if you visit, and I really want to invite you all, make a point of visiting Ruben Center. When you get there, it speaks for itself actually. And most of the work is done by the children. And we also know the vulnerability of those kids in slum areas. But I'm glad to tell you guys that they're really trying out. And they've also won so many awards when it comes to matters in my environment. What I really want to urge every one of us is to hold their hands, not just the kids from the slums, but let us give these kids an opportunity. Let's be an example, because just like the boy there said, you use your bottle, unaitupa hapo chini, mtu mwingine anaokota. If you use public means, you realize that as adults, tunapatia watoto wetu maadili mabovu sana, because mimi nakuja na chipo zangu kwa gari, nikimaliza hizo takataka natupa hapo chini. Nani anakuja kuokota hiyo takataka? Hata tukitembea kwa barabara, we litter everywhere. Tunalalamika Nairobi County is so dirty. But what are we doing as a person, as Masia Lomba? What am I doing? That's a challenge I'm leaving you guys with. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy, and the rest of our journalists who cover climate action stories. Indeed, your role, the role you play, cannot be understated. The stories you tell bring about action and accountability. Thank you so much. I'll now invite Arnold Kipchumba, Director, Environment and Climate Action, Mama Doing Good, to wrap up this segment. A round of applause as he makes his way to the stage. Karibu sana Kipchumba.
Yeah, good morning. PS Engineer Dr. Ngeno, the Secretary Education Florence Amoit, our Chief Executive Officer Elizabeth Koskei, Deputy Director NCBA, members of the Fourth Estate, good morning. Yeah, so my whole idea standing here is just to wrap up the session that Jackson and Karen have just talked about. Is to highlight why is it important for us to focus on children, why children. And already you can tell that by just engaging learners and children, that they become very powerful voices that we need for climate action. We need many Karens and we need many David Jackson so that they can advance this conversation and the role that children play when it comes to climate change. So what I'll do, I'll just throw in some numbers to just highlight why is it important for children, right? So bear with me. Globally, 160 million children have been identified as living in areas at high risk of drought. Nearly 500 million in zones of flooding. 115 million live in zones of high risk of cyclones. When you come back home, of course, Kenya is predominantly youthful, with the median age of 19. Children ranging from 0 to 14 years are approximately 18,541,000. So that's a big number. And when you look also at adolescents, so young people ranging from the age 10 to 19, they're around 11 million percent. So this youthful and child demographic dividend presents an opportunity for development and investment, and also these young people playing an active role when it comes to environment and climate action. So recently, the Ministry of Environment, together with UNICEF, launched what they're calling the Children's Climate and Disaster Risk Model that highlights the vulnerability and exposure of children to climate change. And it went ahead and gave numbers for Kenya, so highlighting what does it look like for Kenya. So approximately 12 million children face climate and disaster risk in Kenya, so moderate to very high risk levels. Approximately children in 7 counties, so this is Turkana, Samburu, Marsabit, Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, and as I'm mentioning the names, these are arid and semi-arid lands, are at very high risk to climate and environmental shocks. Children in an additional 4 counties, so looking at West Pokot, Kilifi, Isiolo, and Kwale, are also in high risk. About 2.4 million, so these numbers are very important, they're staggering. 2.4 million children live in counties with very high risk of climate and environmental shocks. approximately 9 million children in Kenya are exposed to droughts and water scarcity. A further 1.3 million are exposed to flood risks, and 10 million are exposed to malaria risks. These numbers are staggering. They are worrying. And unfortunately, again, when you look also at financing and investment that is done to children, approximately 2.4% of financing, of climate finance, 2.4% only goes to children. So you have a huge demographic gap of young people who are highly vulnerable when it comes to climate change. And also when you look at the investment in terms of climate finance to children, it is very negligible. So it poses a big question. And so when you also look at some of the children vulnerable sectors, I just want to highlight child health and nutrition, is that with climate change we are also exacerbating hunger, malnutrition, diarrhea. And in 2022, when we had, Kenya had one of the worst drought in the past 40 years, number of children ranging from age 6 requiring treatment for malnutrition rose from approximately 700,000 to 800,000. So you can imagine that big number of young people, of children in Kenya having malnutrition. When it comes to education also, and these are some of the climate sensitive sectors, is that when we have flooding, when we have droughts, recently, and when Kenya experienced flood a few months ago, children were not able to go to school, right? So the impact directly affects children. Water, sanitation, and hygiene. Children, living in drought-prone areas are also not having access to water. Livelihoods and social protections and child protection. So I'm just highlighting some of the child-sensitive sectors and just trying to paint a picture of why children are important when it comes to the climate conversation. So we propose, not even propose, but I think as Mama Doing Good, one of the work that we've been doing, and that's why the First Lady Mazingira Awards is important for us, is that we need information and data. And so even the recently Children's Climate Change Disaster Risk Model is able to provide that data. And what happens with data is that with the data and information that we receive from research and evidence-based, is that we are able to design programs for children that are based on data. Participation and policy. What we've just seen, ensuring like children like Karen and Jackson sit in rooms like this so that they can be able to explain to us what their concerns are, what their needs are. So we need to listen to children. And for Kenya, of course, we've made significant progress. When you look at the National Climate Change Act, it has a chapter fully set aside for children, and we've identified 10-point actions that are focused on children engaging, developing a robust climate and children youth strategy that will sort of ensure that children are fully involved. COP27, 28 and 29, if you've been following the Conference of Parties discussions, is for the past 4 COPs. We now have thematic days that focuses on children. This year, for example, it will be on human capital, children and youth on 18. During the Africa Climate Summit also, we had a children pre-summit for children, and they developed a call for action for children that was also presented to the First Lady. So we need to be very intentional in ensuring that children participate and also in the policy processes. And also during the Africa Climate Summit, as Sheila has mentioned, is we even had a dedicated space for children for 2 days so that children could just have engage with experts, express themselves, to just start introducing them to this negotiation process at an early age. We need education. We need education. And part for us, of course, is climate education, there's green skill education, creative expression. The folks from the Ministry of Environment, of Education will talk about formal and informal and non-formal education. But for us as Mama Doing Good, the education that we are advocating for is the First Lady Mazingira Awards, using creative expressions, allowing children to express themselves and what they feel about the environment. And then, of course, financing. Financing is very important when it comes to children. I've just talked about the gap that we have for 2.6. And even the implementation of the First Lady Mazingira Awards. We're very happy because to be able to successfully, implement this, we've been working with partners. NCBA, thank you so much. NCBA, had us, believed in our dream. and have been supporting us and financing us. So we need to ensure that there's investment and financing for children. So I'll stop there. You know, climate change is a global crisis, but it's also a children's crisis, and we need to make sure that they have a seat at the table. And that's what the First Lady Mazingira Awards is doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arnold. Indeed, you have provided that seat for the children on the table by what you're doing in FLAMA and Mama Doing Good. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now reached a key moment in our program. We're going to listen to our distinguished KISS note speakers who are here with us today. And it is my pleasure now to invite Jackie Mohati, Deputy Director and Group Lead of Brands and CBA, to give her remarks. A round of applause kindly as she comes to the stage.
Good morning. I wonder whether I should also get a step. All protocols observed. Madam Koske, CEO Doing Mama Good. Arnold Kipchumba, thank you so much for that acknowledgement. I know the PS is, the Principal Secretary of Education, I think, is represented. And of course, our chief guest, Dr. Engineer Ngeno. I must mention the engineer. We are very happy to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the Fourth Estate, good morning. My name is Jackie Mohati. I'm the Deputy Director and the Group Head of Brands. But today I think I'll go and make some bids, which is also sustainable, so that's fine. First, I think for us, thank you very much for making us part of the program. I think, Sheila, we started this journey last year, and we are very proud to be part of the journey. First, because we are very keen to work with partners that we feel are integral to part of our strategy at NCBA. And maybe just to go a little bit into that, last year we launched our key sustainability commitments, and they were 15. 2 of them stand out because they talk about our need to conserve the environment, and we've made a promise to plant 10 million trees, and we also have a commitment around engaging women and youth. And when we look at what Mama Doing Good is moving with these programs, we see the alignment therein, where we talk about the youth. And David and Karen, wow, my heart is just warm when I listen to you. Being a mother of 3 and listening to young kids like yourselves articulate the issues around climate change really gives me the hope that we have the right pipeline in beginning to embed the right actions within this generation so that indeed we can make the change that we would like to see in future. This partnership comes at a time when global climate crisis is a cause of concern. And I'm thankful for the team for contributing to the greener future. I think Mr. Kipchumba there articulated in numbers how significant this crisis is, and I think collectively it's our responsibility to see how to mitigate against that. Our support for FLAMA stems from the commitments that promote active action that will reverse what we are experiencing. And of course in creating a culture of excellence in environmental conservation and climate action. At NCBA, we believe in fostering partnerships that are beneficial to our communities and are committed to engaging in projects that address social and environmental challenges. And this is because we believe in creating positive impact in the communities we serve. And what a better way to do that than planting trees and securing a greener future. And I think every single person that talked about what it is they've done, people are very happy about planting trees with the First Lady. I'm not sure, Sheila, why I've not yet been given the opportunity to plant trees with Engineer Ngeno. I'm just throwing some opportunities there that you can explore around planting trees with people. But allow me to highlight that the commendable work that Mama Doing Good is doing around women and children is going to drive socioeconomic transformation in our communities through collective a collective voice and influence. And we all know that empowering women positively and impacting communities in turn gives back to nurturing families and communities, which is why I really like the women and children. We know mothers, I mean, fathers are important, don't get me wrong, but when you actually nurture women, automatically they nurture children. Yeah. So Mama Doing Good has also donated a lot of trees and planted trees. That is also another area that we collectively work together, and not just with Mama Doing Good, but with very many other partners, that we collectively address the issue around climate change. The initiative around planting trees, I've said, is also aligned to our commitment of 10 million trees by 2030, and with further collaboration to this course, we have also established forest tree planting in Kitui, which I think we planted about 40,000 trees, and together with all the other partners in the room, we look forward to scaling the impact. Climate change and community well-being are responsible. It's a responsibility we all share for the future generations. And I'd just like to express my gratitude to all the other partners and participants and sponsors who have contributed to the success of the initiatives around planting trees with Mama Doing Good. Together, we can create ripple effects and inspire others to join the movement. As I conclude, today we look forward to the future that we hold. Let's encourage everyone to participate in this conversation. Let's inspire young children like David and Karen. Let us be the parents that sort of have this conversation in our homes, so that the Davids and the Karens in our home are part of this journey, and inspire our children and youth to be actively involved and to contribute, and their contributions will be recognized and highly appreciated. If you want your child to go to Russia, please do what Karen is doing. Yeah. If you want your child to plant a tree with the First Lady, please do what David is doing. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll just be seated here waiting to plant trees with Engineer Ngeno and Dr. Kipsang and maybe Madam Koske. Okay. The words that you've put together aim to cultivate the culture of excellence in environmental conservation, led by youth, which is very critical. I talk to the pipeline. They are the future, okay? And by adopting this approach, I think we will spark a collective movement among youth, okay? We've seen some movements that have been, very loud, and I think a movement around environment will be quite a good one, and this will propel our generation, or rather the children, our younger children, the generation. It will propel them towards a sustainable future and equip them with the right tool set and mindset to change and sort of articulate climate change differently. From an NCBA perspective, I think, Arnold, you talked to it. We come in to support from a financial perspective, but we also have programs around financing education in this particular space, programs around including and involving all our supply chain in the narrative around climate change, and it goes deeper than just tree planting. It's also around how we sort of manage our waste, how we sort of collectively put out a story that matters. And I think each of us has to come to the table with the strengths that we bring to sort of address the climate issues, and we continue to be proud to be partners with yourselves, and we look forward to more. And as we look forward to the 10th, which is Mazingira Day, I urge everybody in the room to play their respective role in the climate change conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll end my speech at that, and I'd like to acknowledge my two colleagues who are in the room. Francis Kavevi is here with me, our head of communication, and Joanne Karanja, who is one of the team members that is critical in the citizenship department within which sustainability lies. Thank you, everybody, and have a good morning.
Another big round of applause for Madam Jackie. NCBA, what you're doing to conserve our environment. Thank you. I'll now invite Madam Elizabeth Koskei, CEO Mama Doing Good, to make her remarks, and also invite Florence Amoit, Secretary Administration, State Department for Education, Basic Education, who is also representing Dr. Belio Kipsang, the PS in the same State Department. A round of applause for Ms. Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam MC. You're doing a great job. Dr. Engineer Festus Ngeno, our Principal Secretary, State Department of Environment and Climate Action, representative from the Ministry of Education, coming on behalf of Dr. Belion Kipsang, who is the Principal Secretary, and that is Madam Florence Ambiti. Our distinguished partners, led by our title sponsor, NCBA Bank, Deputy Director Jackie Mahati, members of the Fourth Estate, my colleagues from Mama Doing Good, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. God is good, and all the time. Mazingira yetu, our environment. Thank you so much. I think before I continue, I'd like to request our colleagues from Mama Doing Good just to stand so that we acknowledge their presence. Kindly. Kindly. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to join you today and represent Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mama Rachel Ruto, at this important media breakfast. I extend her warm regards and deep appreciation to all of you, the Fourth Estate, for your presence here today. You are the voice and the mirror of our society, reflecting the realities we face and shaping the narratives that define us. Today, we gather to amplify the critical issue of climate change and environmental conservation, especially around our children. Allow me to thank the representatives of our younger generation, led by David and our daughter, Karen, who have spoken before me. And you have the unique power to bring the unseen into the light, to tell stories that awaken a nation, and to inspire action where it's needed the most. We believe the issue of environment needs to be spoken about more louder than ever before. And I think that was alluded by one of the representatives from the media house. Through your lenses, words, and platforms, you influence how we, as a society, view environmental conservation and climate change. It is through you that the message of climate action can resonate across Kenya, and indeed, the whole region and globally. Climate change is not an abstract issue anymore. It is an everyday reality, and especially for our children. You've heard what Karen has talked about. I am this old, and don't ask me how old. And Karen, I've not been able to do or to be in places where you have been. And so we thank God that our future is bright with people, and young people at that, like Karen, who are ready to stand up, to be counted, to talk about the environment. Won't we join them, even at our age, to guide them even more and make the future brighter and greener for our future generations? With 18 million learners in our country, children are at the heart of our society, and they must be central to our planning and national agenda. Kenya, as you all know, has a predominantly youthful population with a median age of Does anyone know the median age of our population? 19. That has come from the Ministry of Education. A clap for them. We have a median age of 19 years. This youthful demographic holds the key to a sustainable future. And it is through them that we can foster a culture of environmental stewardship and a vibrant climate action. There is one of America's reporters and educationists known as Neil Postman. I know the people in the media know him so well. For one reason, that he challenged the issue of culture versus television. And he was saying television is killing the culture because it's changing the way we bring up our children. And this man said, children are the living messages we send to a time that we will not see. So what messages are we putting in these children that we are sending to the future that we might not see as parents? This is the heart of our First Lady when she comes up to talk about these Mazingira Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency, the First Lady, is deeply committed to being the voice of the children, advocating for their protection, provision, and participation. We call them the 3 Ps. And thanks, Karen, for alluding to the 3 Ps. The First Lady's Mazingira Awards, which we commonly know acronym as FLAMA, falls under children's participation, ensuring that learners across Kenya, regardless of their abilities, location, or background, are actively engaged in climate action. Inclusivity, as said by Sheila, is at the heart of this initiative. We engage learners of all abilities, including those from special needs and marginalized schools. We ensure they have a stake in our national climate agenda. And I think Sheila walked us through the process that we have been under this program from inception to today. Children are not just passive observers of climate change. They are its most vulnerable victims. The drought that ravaged Kenya up in April last year, which has been recorded to be the worst in 40 years, was a harsh reminder of how fragile our environment has become. It devastated livelihoods, left families struggling for water, and forced schools to shut down. Can you remember that time last year? Is there a school that was shut that you got to know of? Possibly that school is somewhere in your village, somewhere in your location. So climate change is actually happening to us and is affecting our children the most. These realities hit our children the hardest, especially in Kenya's vast arid and semi-arid regions. And yet, despite the vulnerability, children understood these challenges in ways we sometimes overlook. They know where the shoe pinches the most, and their voices must then be heard. I cannot say, even as I stand before you, that I understand what every child who was affected by that drought went through. I would be lying if I say I do. They themselves understand it better. And so we have to give them space to express themselves and to find solutions to help us. Hence, the grounding on this program. FLAMA is not just a competition, and for that matter, not just an award ceremony. It is a platform for real hands-on engagement through creative expression, as said by my people who have talked before me. Through its alignment with the school curriculum, it provides opportunities for children to learn by doing. Actually, to plant trees, conserve water, and develop sustainable solutions towards climate action. By empowering our learners, we are nurturing a generation that values and protects the environment. This part of Her Excellency's broader strategy to amplify the voices of children as agents of change in climate action. Her Excellency is also committed to supporting the presidential directive on the National Tree Growing and Restoration Campaign. And thank you, Sister Jackie, for alluding to the tree planting. Together with partners, the First Lady has a broad ambition to plant 500 million trees in support of the President's vision of growing 15 billion trees by 2032. A critical part of this strategy involves enlisting learners across the country in this ambitious endeavor. When children are empowered to plant and nurture trees, they not only contribute to reforestation, but also become lifelong environmental stewards. In addition to FLAMA, Her Excellency has also launched the Mama Kitchen Garden. It's an initiative with a demonstration farm at State House, Nairobi. And it will soon be rolled out to schools across the country. Similarly, the Mama Fruit Garden initiative, launched in May 2023, is thriving in schools. Both initiatives support the nurturing of our learners, but also add to our green cover and instill the importance of sustainable agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, at the core of this learner-centered climate action communication is you, the members of the Fourth Estate, and the people that are here with us today. The stories you tell about children and their connection to the environment are very powerful. You have shown us the true impact of climate change. For example, during the flooding in Baringo, schools were forced to close. While the initial focus on the hotels and the loss to the tourism sector was your reporting focus, you brought into light the plight of the learners, the true victims of the crisis. This to us is the kind of journalism that drives change. Looking ahead, we are eager to continue working with the media, including exploring the possibility of organizing a media fellowship for environmental reporters to strengthen your capacity to tell these crucial stories. And let us not forget the exciting idea of a media tree planting day, where we can come together as partners to make a tangible contribution to our tree planting agenda. So it's an invitation to you, media houses, to partner with us in doing this and in reporting more about our environment. Finally, I invite you all to mark your calendars for the 10th of October 2024, when we will host the first ever First Lady Mazingira Award ceremony at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, the amphitheater, as part of the National Mazingira Day celebration. It will be a proud moment for Kenya, and we look forward to seeing you all there. In conclusion, I thank you once again for your commitment and for your presence today. Together with the power of storytelling, we can inspire a nation to action. We believe in the role of the media in shaping our future, and we are excited about what we can achieve together in building a sustainable, green Kenya for generations to come. Allow me then to thank each one of you for attending this media briefing. We have partners, and allow me to name a few, like Dr. Osewe from the Renaissance University, who has joined us today, and many more. We appreciate each one of you for being here today. Thank you for the speakers that came ahead of me, and thank you for the powerful words that you have spoken. Thank you, our peers, for accepting to grace this occasion. And so, as I end, allow me also to invite our representative from the Ministry of Education, Madam Florence Omoiti, who in turn will assist me to invite our peers to give us a keynote address. Thank you for listening to me, and God bless you.
Still good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, the CEO, Madam Elizabeth, our Principal Secretary, Dr. Engineer Festus Ngeno, ladies and gentlemen, all the speakers who have been here before me. They have talked about the children, and here from the ministry, my name is Florence Amoit, from the State Department for Basic Education, Ministry of Education, and at the center of this program, as all our speakers have alluded to, is the child. And this child is also at the center of the ministry. I have a message from the PS, Daktari Belio Kipsang, who is out there on other official duties. Allow me to give his message. Let me start by appreciating the Office of the First Lady for her role and her team that she has played in supporting the presidential directive on national tree growing restoration campaign by committing to plant 500 million trees, and you even have a great ambition of doing 1 billion over the period of 10 years. Congratulations. We note that in the spirit of collaboration, the organization is working with many stakeholders to adopt different strategies to achieve this target. The Ministry of Education is proud to be part of this because the learners in the education institutions have a chance to positively contribute to the national goal of planting 15 billion trees. From the previous speakers, it has been demonstrated that this is not just a competition, it also involves the practical part of planting trees. This initiative to engage learners in growing trees in schools dubbed Mama Fruit Garden is highly appreciated. The initiative seeks to inspire learners to become environmental stewards and climate change champions through fruit tree growing. This will contribute to the learners' nutrition and income generation. This is also going to be supported, leveraging on the existing school programs such as 4K clubs, and some of the speakers have alluded to this previously. The First Lady Mazingira Award, also known as FLAMA, annual national challenge to us as a ministry, provides a platform that recognizes and appreciates young people making significant contribution in addressing climate change through creative expression of Kenya's learners. The Ministry of Education has also proudly participated in the process of designing the award scheme, right from the competition conception to the implementation. The ministry has issued the necessary authorizations in line with its mandate and also used the existing structures to popularize and support FLAMA in all our primary, junior schools in the country. The ministry appreciates the fact that this program is learner-centered in its approach, and design. The competition as purposely or is designed to be of learners, by learners, and for the learners. And most of the speakers have alluded to this. And to us as a ministry, involving learners in designing the name, the tagline, the logo of this program through the national competition gives them the opportunity to think critically, make decisions on matters that are affecting them, thereby promoting the ownership and the decision-making capacity from the early stages. The competition also targets all learners at all levels of basic education in institutions, including those with special needs. And this is in the effort to build a more sustainable, resilient climate future that we are all aspiring for. However, as a ministry, it was deemed wise that we start at a lower level and progressively expand. And from Sheila's explanation, we are currently actively involving junior and primary schools, then progressively expand to other levels. FLAMA to us gives learners an opportunity to be involved in the environment, creative activities, which is art, drawing, essay in Kiswahili and English, and spoken words. And this avails them the equal opportunity to express themselves on climate change issues, while at the same time developing their ability and talent and skills. The ministry, again, collaborates by way of integrating. We have integrated the program with our National Education Information System, NEMIS, whereby the participation of learners, these learners who are participating in the competition, the process is powered by NEMIS, which is the ministry's single source of truth and one-stop shop for education data. This means that NEMIS UCI codes are used to help in identifying and authenticating bona fide schools and learners to enroll for FLAMA competition. So we want to confirm that those competing are from known schools and they are authenticated as students in those schools using through the system, the information system NEMIS. We wish to appreciate also the focus of this award scheme, which aims to nurture and empower learners as agents of change for environmental conservation and climate action. This will complement government's effort to promote an environment-centered entrepreneurship culture among learners. This will also ensure that the young people use their talents and skills gainfully and responsibly while appreciating the impact of their actions on the present and future generations. We can therefore safeguard Mother Nature through responsible human activities. The challenges of climate, as most of the speakers have alluded, affect mostly our children. They are more vulnerable. And this, as a ministry, also affects our commitment to provide quality education for all. Among these challenges is the disruption of the school calendar occasioned by floods, and the example is what we experienced in April, May, June, where we had some schools in counties such as Baringos being submerged. And we also have cases of many children in arid and semi-arid areas missing classes due to hunger, which is occasioned by drought. And all these are the effects of climate change. With such initiatives of First Lady's Mazingira Award, we are optimistic we shall be able to arise above these challenges. As government, we are committed to fostering an environment where learners explore their passions, think critically, and collaborate effectively. And through initiatives such as this, we seek to encourage creativity in a constructive and gainful and sustainable way. This program actually empowers learners to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and effective communicators. It is also important that our learners possess the necessary skills and values needed to excel in the digital age or space. We are glad to note that the submissions for competition were done digitally. We also want to commend the efforts made to achieve integrity in the process, integrity and credibility of the judging process, ensuring that the best will be awarded while nurturing the talents of the rest. One concern in the ministry is about the process of getting the best. But having discussions with some of the officials, we were assured that the process is done in such a way that it meets a threshold to safeguard on the integrity of the whole process, so that there is no unfairness, and those who emerge top indeed deserve it, while the others also get the opportunity to have their talents honed. Ladies and gentlemen, as I draw closer to the conclusion, I want to say that promoting FLAMA, we are investing in our future. Overall, it will greatly promote inculcation of values which are espoused in our education competency-based curriculum. I also want to confirm that the government remains steadfast in its commitment to providing quality education for every child in Kenya, and this initiative adds value to the education. Together, let's inspire, let's empower, and uplift our children, which are our next generation, ensuring that no child shall fail to realize their dreams due to opportunity limitations. We must not forget also that education is a shared responsibility, and that if we work together, there is no limit to what we can achieve together. And for this reason, we must go further to support FLAMA to ensure its sustainability going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. May the flame of FLAMA continue to shine brightly in the hearts and minds of our learners and all of us as a country. God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you. I've also been given the honor to welcome my peers, none other than Dr. Engineer Festus Nyeno. A round of applause as he comes to the podium.
A round of applause to the Secretary in charge of Education, Dr. Florence Moit. Our CEO, Mama Doing Good, Elizabeth Koske. The Secretary, Education, Florence Moit, representing my colleague, PS Dr. Pelio Kipsang. Jackie Muhati, the Deputy Director and Group Head of Brands NCPA. I want also to recognize the presence of the young people. Karen Wanjiru, my young girl, thank you so much for what you do in the climate action space. And of course, David Jackson, who is the award winner on FLAMA. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. God is good. And all the time. Allow me to just appreciate this opportunity that we've been given to just make remarks on behalf of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, and the role that we play in collaboration with Mama Doing Good. Sometimes I wonder where I work, whether I work in the ministry or I work in Mama Doing Good. But I want to say that I work for the government of the Republic of Kenya, led by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. So tutafanya kazi kila mahali. I want to just indicate that we appreciate that it is an honor and privilege to stand before you today and during this first year's Ladies Mazingira Awards ceremony, an event that signifies a crucial step towards nurturing the next generation of environmental champions. Today, we celebrate not only the achievements of our learners, but also the transformative power of child advocacy in driving environmental resilience. The First Ladies Mazingira Awards provides an exceptional platform where our young learners who represent the future of this nation can express creativity, solutions, and understanding of the pressing environmental and climate challenges that we face. And we are proud as a Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry that at the launch of the FLAMA program during the first or the inaugural Africa Climate Summit. And I was just whispering to the team from Office of the First Lady that the First Lady's Pavilion was the best during that event. And of course, we really worked together to make sure that, in fact, I was asking them, why did you pull down all those things that they really worked on for the kids and the number of kids that were there to celebrate climate action programs. I think it is an important thing. We are proud that the event, we provided for you the platform to launch this, and we are working very, very closely with the Office of the First Lady to make sure that this event or these programs continue. Even looking forward even to the Mazingira Day on 10/10, when we will be providing the awards. I think it is an important day, and we want to appreciate this incident the President for renaming the 10th of October to be an Environment Day. And of course, we have marked it as a ministry, and we'll be celebrating. And of course, we are working with the Office of the First Lady to make sure that we deliver that event successfully. Through art, creative writing, and spoken word, and of course, these were the things that we saw during the event, learners have the opportunity to become focal advocates for the planet, engaging their communities in meaningful discussions about conservation and climate resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of the FLAMA is the principle of child advocacy. And I think my colleague from the education has really emphasized on this, that the role of the children in shaping the future of environmental and welfare and climate resilience cannot be overstated. It is our children who will bear the brunt of climate change if we do not act decisively. And it's a rallying call for us as adults. Therefore, by empowering them through this initiative like FLAMA, we are ensuring that they become active participants in the solutions and not passive observers. And we want to encourage them that we give them the platform to deliver on their aspects, on their mandates. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, children have a unique voice that often cuts across the complexities that can sometimes hinder adult discourse. Their genuine passion and concern for the environment inspire all of us to take collective action collective and purposeful action. It is with great pride that I acknowledge the First Lady's pivotal role in elevating the voices of children, making FLAMA a platform where children can participate, contribute, and lead. Environmental education, ladies and gentlemen, plays a central role in this journey. It is through the integration of environmental education into the learning experiences of our children that we cultivate a culture of environmental stewardship and responsibility. This education is not just about imparting knowledge, it is about shaping behaviors and inspiring lifelong commitments to protect our natural world. Through the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, we have integrated environmental education into the national curriculum. FLAMA is a significant part of this effort, aligning with key policies and strategies that support children's involvement in climate action. We are all experiencing firsthand the impacts of climate change. The recent floods, and quite a number of speakers have alluded to this, that devastated our infrastructure and regrettably may claim many lives, are still fresh in our minds. Tragically, many of those who perish were children and women. The delays in school openings last time due to the destruction of educational infrastructure by floods is a direct example of how climate change is affecting our children. Ladies and gentlemen, recognizing these adverse effects, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has been very proactive in creating an enabling environment for children's participation in climate action. Our recently launched National Climate Change Action Plan 2023-2027 dedicates a whole chapter to children and young people, underscoring the importance of empowering them to actively engage in both national and local climate initiatives. The First Lady's Mazingira Awards, FLAMA, complements this by providing a structured platform for learners to contribute to our broader national goals, such as Presidential Directive to grow 15 billion trees by 2032. I'm also happy to note and highlight that in collaboration with UNICEF, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry recently launched the Children's Climate and Disaster Risk Model. This model places children at the forefront of climate action and disaster risk reduction efforts by highlighting how children and their communities are at a risk of climate and disaster impacts in each county. Ladies and gentlemen, this initiative, targeting 89,000 schools and 18 million learners, including special needs learners, is not just a competition. It is a movement, and we want to appreciate the First Lady's Mazingira Awards for this initiative. It is not just for competition, it is a movement. And we want to really commit that we will work closely together to deliver on the mandate and the vision that the First Lady is carrying in this program. And this movement, it's a movement that aims to inculcate a deep sense of responsibility and ownership among our young people regarding the preservation and restoration of our environment. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to Her Excellency the First Lady, Mama Rachel, for her unwavering commitment to making children the cornerstone of Kenya's environmental resilience. Through FLAMA, we are witnessing the seeds of change being planted, and with these efforts, we will secure a sustainable future for our nation. Going forward, let us remain committed to supporting and empowering our learners, knowing that the future of our environment and our climate depends on the actions we take today with the full participation of our children who are our future. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Asanteni.
Thank you, our guest speaker. Thank you, Mama Doing Good, FLAMA, NCBA, our young ambassadors, our esteemed media personalities here today. Thank you for your insights. Indeed, your perspectives will significantly contribute to creating a sustainable future. You have been provided with a flash disk. The flash disk has materials. Videos and photos will be sent to your respective media houses thereafter, or shortly after this event. Kindly, a call to all of us. Join us on 10th of October this month, 11 a.m. at KICC for the awards ceremony, FLAMA Ceremonial Awards, that will be graced by Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, the CS, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, PS Environment, Climate Change, PS Forestry, PS Basic Education, among other dignitaries who will join us for that ceremony. You're all welcome, and thank you so much for making time to be here with us. That marks the end of our program. Thank you. Have a very good day.